They say wisdom comes with age, but sometimes the years can hide darkness instead of light. This is the story of Diamond Manning, a 22-year-old college student whose radiant smile and ambitious dreams in journalism promised a future as bright as her name. But life has a way of testing our judgment, of placing trust in paths that seem stable simply because they've existed longer than we have. In early 2024 in Gary, Indiana, Diamond's story would become a tragic reminder that age doesn't always equal wisdom, and that love, or what we sometimes mistake for love, can blind us to the red flags waving right in the front of our faces. Leveda Boyd had used her extra time on this earth to perfect control and violence. Diamond trusted her. This is her tragic story. Graduation day 2020. Diamond Manning is rocking her cap and gown, radiating pure joy. The video her mom took shows Diamond glowing with excitement, declaring her future is limitless. She's not wrong. At just 21, she's already killing it as a media reporter for PNN Broadcasting Network and grinding at Ivy Tech Community College. Everyone who knew Diamond talked about her infectious smile, the way she uplifted everyone's spirits, and how she was destined for big things in journalism. But Diamond's story isn't just about her dreams and potential. It's about how someone's whole world can shatter when they ignore the red flags in a relationship, even when those flags are practically screaming at them. That is what makes this case so tragic. This isn't some Netflix drama, it's reality. And this is the kind of story that could happen to any of us. Let's break it down. Diamond was only 22 years old when her life was stolen from her. 22! Think about that. She was literally just starting to figure out who she was, building her career in broadcasting and chasing her dreams.
The sky is the limit. Aww.
Every single person who knew her could see she was going places. And even if she wasn't, she was a human being with thoughts, feelings, and dreams. That's what makes this whole situation hit different. Diamond had everything ahead of her, but here's where things get complicated. Enter Leveda Boyd, aged 40. Yeah, you heard that right, 40. That's nearly double Diamond's age. Now, age gaps aren't automatically toxic, but in this case, it was just one piece of a much darker puzzle. In your early 20s, you're just starting to figure out adult life. From managing money to making major decisions, everything's new, and that's exactly how it should be. But when someone 20 years older enters the picture, their experience can become a weapon of control rather than guidance. Think about it. They've been handling adult life for decades. They might use phrases like, "I know better," or "Trust me, I've been through this." What seems like caring guidance can actually be manipulation. They might control your finances, criticize your friends, or question your choices, all under the guise of helping you avoid their past mistakes. Diamond and Leveda's relationship started like many do these days, with cute social media posts and public declarations of love. Diamond would post things like, "I want to give my girl the whole MF world," and so much more. Before her, I was broken and unhappy, but now I met her, she made my life so much better. At first glance, these posts might seem sweet, romantic even, but looking closer, there were signs from the jump. In one video, Diamond casually mentions she's so aggressive, trying to laugh it off like it's no big deal.
She's so aggressive, y'all. But I somehow managed to like it. Give me a kiss.
Spoiler alert, it was a big deal. This is the kind of comment that might seem small in the moment, but it's actually a massive warning sign. And why did Diamond claim she would kill for Leveda? That didn't sound like her. Not if you ask her mom or her siblings. Taking lives was never something she would talk about before meeting Leveda. Yeah, the age gap between them created a serious power imbalance. Diamond was fresh out of school, and Leveda used that to manipulate her into living her life her way, instead of loving her as a unique, separate person. Their relationship played out publicly on social media, which isn't unusual these days, but the way it played out, that's where things get concerning. What started as loving posts turned into public fights and call-outs. Boyd would regularly post about their problems online, airing their dirty laundry for everyone to see. This isn't just messy relationship drama, it is a control tactic. It's about humiliation, about making your partner feel exposed and vulnerable. The digital footprint of their relationship tells a story of escalating control. Boyd became increasingly jealous of Diamond's interactions with others. She wouldn't just keep these feelings private, she had to make them public, had to let everyone know she was watching. At one point, she even threatened one of Diamond's friends, saying, "I know where you stay at, I'd stay ready." Let let that sink in. That's not love, that's intimidation. Technology plays a huge role in this story, both as protection and as a weapon. Like many of us, Diamond used location sharing with her sister, a smart safety move. But Boyd turned this safety feature into another way to control Diamond. The message, "V got my location," sent to Diamond's sister, wasn't just about sharing locations. It was about Boyd asserting control over Diamond's movements, her privacy, and her freedom. The relationship got more toxic by the day. Diamond tried to keep things looking normal on social media, but the cracks were showing. In May 2023, she posted about getting Boyd's name tattooed on her wrist, writing about how Boyd motivated her and pushed her to do better. "My girl has been my biggest motivator. She is the only reason why I push to do harder. We get each other through the stormy days, but our love is like a rainbow on a rainy day." Between the lines, you could see things weren't right. The relationship had become intense, possessive, and suffocating. By early 2024, Diamond had finally reached her breaking point. On the day everything went down, she posted, "I'm off you for good now." She was done. She was ready to move on. She was choosing herself. But sometimes when you're dealing with someone controlling, choosing yourself becomes dangerous. That night, March 2nd, 2024, started like any other. Diamond pulled up to her place in Gary around 9:45 p.m. with a relative. Boyd's white Chevy Equinox was already there, waiting. Diamond told her relative she wasn't going anywhere with Boyd that night. She probably thought that she was safe. She was right outside her own home, after all. But security cameras caught her last movements near Boyd's car, and what happened next would leave her loved ones scarred for life. The digital trail of evidence in this case is wild. Security cameras, license plate readers, phone records, they all tell a story that Boyd tried to hide. Their camera caught her car in places she claimed she never went. Her phone showed calls that she tried to say never happened. Even after Diamond was gone, Leveda Boyd allegedly used her phone to try to cover her tracks, sending messages to make it look like everything was fine. The technology that we all use every day, the same stuff we use to share our lives, to stay connected, to feel safe, ended up painting a clear picture of Diamond's final hours. The security cameras caught Boyd's car near the scene. The license plate readers tracked her movements. The phone records showed calls made after Diamond was already gone. All of it came together to tell the truth, even when someone tried to hide it. This isn't just another sad story about relationship violence. This is real life. This happened to a young woman who is just like many of us, active on social media, sharing her location with family, documenting her relationship online. Diamond was a real person with real dreams, real potential, and a real future that was stolen from her just days before her 22nd birthday.
What's your words of encouragement on your graduation day?
Some people give me words of encouragement.
What dreams do you have?
To be successful in life.
Here is where Diamond's story becomes a crucial wake-up call for all of us. The night everything went down, the digital breadcrumbs started telling a different story than what Boyd wanted everyone to believe. When police got involved, they uncovered a complex web of lies that unraveled thanks to modern technology. The same kind of tech we use every day without thinking twice about it. The security cameras at Diamond's place caught everything in fragments. Diamond getting out of her car, Boyd's white Equinox parked outside, then that same car leaving the area. But here's the thing. Boyd told police she left after having a conversation with Diamond on the porch. She even showed them a text sent at 9:53 p.m. saying she was done talking. Except the receipts? They told a completely different story. Security footage and license plate readers had already caught Boyd's car heading toward where they'd later find Diamond before that text was even sent. Let that sink in. The technology we often complain about for invading our privacy, it ended up exposing the truth. And it gets deeper. At 11:36 p.m., after police had already found Diamond, someone made a call from her phone. Think about that for a second. Diamond was already gone, but her phone was still active. This isn't some crime show plot twist. This is real life, showing how someone might try to use our digital footprint to create fake alibis. The location sharing drama adds another layer to this tragedy. At 9:51 p.m., Diamond's sister got an alert that Diamond had stopped sharing her location. When she texted to ask why, the response was, "V got my location." This wasn't about tracking someone's movements anymore. It was about control, about someone taking away Diamond's autonomy. Here's something most people don't talk enough about: how abusers can use our digital lives against us. Leveda allegedly took Diamond's phone and turned off its GPS, trying to cover her tracks. She even sent herself texts texts from Diamond's phone after Diamond was gone, attempting to create a fake timeline. This is next level manipulation, using the same tools we use to stay connected to try and hide the truth. The police investigation uncovered something else too. Texts between Diamond and Boyd showed that they'd been messaging around 9:16 p.m. when Boyd first showed up at Diamond's place. By 9:22 p.m., Diamond was telling Boyd to leave. The conversation clearly wasn't going well, but instead of respecting Diamond's wishes, Boyd stayed. The cameras later caught her car heading toward where Diamond would take her last breath. We need to talk about the social media aspect too, because it's wild how much of their relationship drama played out online. Earlier that day, Diamond had posted, "I'm off you for good now," a clear statement that she was done with the relationship. But ending things isn't always as simple as hitting post on social media, especially when you're dealing with someone who refuses to let go. Remember that friend of Diamond's who came forward? They revealed some seriously scary stuff. Diamond had accused this friend of being involved with Boyd, and Boyd's response was straight up threatening. "I know where you stay. I stay ready." That was a threat, and it shows how abusers often try to isolate their victims by creating conflict with their friends. The surveillance footage from that night tells a heartbreaking story. After Diamond got out of her car near Boyd's Equinox, the motion-activated cameras caught fragments of their interaction. We'll never know exactly what was said in those moments, but we know that within hours, Diamond would be found on a sidewalk about 2 miles from home with gunshot wounds to her head and torso. Boyd's attempt to cover her tracks showed just how calculated this whole thing was. She changed her story multiple times during questioning. Phone records caught an argument between them right before the shooting, and when investigators found Diamond, her phone was missing from the scene because Boyd had taken it, trying to use it to create an alibi. Now Boyd's facing murder charges with a firearm enhancement. If convicted, she could spend up to 85 years in prison. Diamond's family is on edge until the trial. They will have to relive the nightmare of losing Diamond to see this monster in prison. Still, they're confident she won't make it out alive. However, no prison sentence can bring Diamond back or heal the wound her loss left in her community. Just days after Diamond's death, when she should have been celebrating her 22nd birthday, her mother was instead releasing balloons into the sky, singing happy birthday to a daughter who would never grow older. That video hits hard. A mother's love reaching towards heaven because her daughter was taken too soon.
This is my daughter's 22nd birthday, Diamond Man. And I got these balloons for her in lieu of her birthday, even though she's not here. But I want to sing happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Diamond. Happy birthday to you. And I'm gonna let these balloons go so they can raise to the heavens to where my happy birthday, my love.
Here's why Diamond's story matters so much for our generation. This isn't just about relationship violence in the traditional sense. It's about how digital abuse and control can escalate into real-world violence. For anyone who might see similarities in their own relationship, please hear this. You deserve better. Those small red flags, they're not small at all. When someone monitors your location constantly, demands access to your phone or social media, threatens your friends, that is not love. That is control. If you find yourself having to explain every interaction you have with others or laughing off your partner's aggressive behavior because it's easier than confronting it, these are serious warning signs. And if they refuse to accept when you want to end things, that's not dedication or passion. It is a dangerous form of control that could escalate at any moment. These behaviors are not signs of caring. They are tactics of manipulation and abuse. And here's the thing about control. It can escalate faster than you think. Diamond went from posting about getting her girlfriend's name tattooed to trying to end the relationship, to losing her life, all within less than a year. This isn't about victim blaming. This is about understanding that abuse often starts small and builds gradually. Diamond's story is a tragic reminder that in 2024, relationship violence isn't just about physical abuse. It is about digital control, online harassment, location tracking, and using our connected world as a weapon. Her story teaches us that we need to be aware of how technology can be used against us, even as we use it to try to stay safe. As we remember Diamond Manning, the bright young journalist, the beloved daughter and friend, the young woman with dreams bigger than the sky, let us honor her memory by looking out for each other, by speaking up when we see red flags, by understanding that love shouldn't hurt, shouldn't control, shouldn't threaten. Because maybe, just maybe, if we learn from Diamond's story, we can help prevent another young person's dreams from being cut short. Maybe we can help someone recognize the signs before it's too late. Maybe we can save a life. Diamond should be here today, chasing her dreams in journalism, bringing her radiant smile to every room she enters. Instead, her story becomes a crucial lesson for all of us about the importance of recognizing warning signs, supporting our friends, and understanding that walking away from a toxic relationship isn't just okay. Sometimes it is the only way to stay alive. Hey you guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a kind thought for Diamond's family here and let me know how you vet the people you date to keep yourself safe. Before you go, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. Catch you soon.
No matter how envious you were of any human being, it does not give you the right to destroy lives, many lives, your own family's lives, our lives, Kendra's lives, my children's lives. Who the hell do you think you are, Brenda?
Have you ever wondered how far someone would go for love? In this video, we'll see how one woman's obsession led to a brutal murder that shocked Dallas. Get ready for a story of jealousy, betrayal, and a crime no one saw coming. Meet Kendra Hatcher, a 35-year-old pediatric dentist with a smile that could light up a room. She had it all: a successful career, a loving boyfriend, and a future full of promise. Kendra spent her days helping kids overcome their fear of the dentist's chair, and her nights planning a life with her new love, Dr. Ricky Paniagua. But on September 2nd, 2015, Kendra's bright future was cut short in the most horrific way. As she pulled into her apartment garage after a long day at work, someone was waiting for her. The next thing anyone knew, Kendra's lifeless body was found on the cold concrete floor. What happened to this kind-hearted dentist? And who could have wanted her dead? What would you do if you stumbled upon a murder scene in your own apartment complex? For the residents of Gables Park 17 in Dallas, this nightmare became a reality on September 2nd, 2015. As the sun set on what seemed like an ordinary day, a chilling discovery shattered the peace of this upscale community. Picture this: a woman's body lying motionless on the concrete floor of the parking garage. Kendra Hatcher, the beloved pediatric dentist we just met, the same Kendra who spent her days brightening children's smiles, was now silenced forever. But how did it happen? What turned this bustling apartment complex into a crime scene? Let's piece together the shocking details.
It's our understanding that last night about 7:45, our victim, Miss Kendra Hatcher, white female, 35, arrived home at the Gables Park 17 apartments in the 1700 block of Cedar Springs Road. At some time before she arrived, we believe a vehicle of interest entered that same parking garage by piggybacking or following another vehicle in through the gate. And that vehicle parked and waited in a parking space. The vehicle, which is shown on the screen from surveillance video, is described as an older model Jeep Cherokee. It's got faded paint on the hood and a paper buyer tag. When Ms. Hatcher parks her car, an individual gets out of the vehicle of interest, walks in her direction. Witnesses then describe hearing a gunshot. Very quickly thereafter, that individual gets back into the vehicle of interest, and that vehicle then leaves the parking garage.
But who was behind the wheel? And why did they target Kendra? At first, the police thought that this might be a robbery gone wrong. After all, Kendra's tan Coach purse was missing. But was this really just about a designer bag, or was there something more sinister at play? Detective Eric Barnes took charge of the investigation, but he didn't have much to go on. Just a grainy surveillance video showing a woman driving a black Jeep Cherokee out of the parking garage. Was this the killer, or just an innocent bystander?
The police would then later release this image of the vehicle believed to have been involved in Kendra's
As news of the murder spread, fear gripped the uptown area. Young women in particular felt unsafe. After all, if this could happen to Kendra, couldn't it happen to anyone? The next day, Kendra's colleagues and friends gathered outside Gables Park 17 garage entrance. They held a vigil, their candles flickering in the night as they tried to make sense of this senseless act. One of Kendra's co-workers at Smile Zone said,
"Well, Heather, as shocked as residents are, Kendra Hatcher's family say for them, that feeling is only amplified. The local dentist recently found love and saw herself moving to San Francisco to be with her boyfriend. Hatcher's family say she never mentioned she was in any type of trouble."
It's a question that haunted everyone. Who could have wanted Kendra dead? This wasn't just a robbery. The brutal nature of the killing, a single shot to the head, suggested something more personal. But what? As the investigation unfolded, more questions arose. Was this a random act of violence, or had someone been watching Kendra, waiting for the right moment to strike? And if so, who and why? The community was in shock. Kendra's patients, her colleagues, her friends, they all struggled to understand how someone so full of life could be taken so violently. How could someone who dedicated her life to helping others meet such a tragic end? But as the police dug deeper, they began to uncover a twisted web of jealousy and obsession. Little did they know the person responsible for Kendra's death was closer than anyone could have imagined. And the motive? Well, that's where our story takes an even darker turn. You might think you know where the story is going, but you've seen nothing yet. As the police investigated Kendra's murder, they uncovered a suspect no one saw coming. Let us introduce you to Brenda Delgado, a dental hygiene student at Sanford Brown College in Dallas. On the surface, she seemed like your average student, pretty, personable, and easy to talk to. But beneath that friendly exterior lurked a darkness that would shock everyone who knew her. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the connection between Brenda and Kendra? Well, it all goes back to a man named Dr. Ricardo "Ricky" Paniagua. Brenda and Ricky had been in a relationship for 2.5 years. They seemed inseparable, with Ricky even giving Brenda a promise ring. But in February 2015, Ricky decided it was time to move on. He broke up with Brenda and soon started dating Kendra. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? A typical breakup story, but for Brenda, this wasn't just a relationship ending. It was the beginning of an obsession that would lead to murder. At first glance, no one would have suspected Brenda. She was known as friendly, quiet, and an ambitious person. But behind closed doors, a different Brenda emerged. One who couldn't accept that her relationship with Ricky was over. So what did Brenda do? She started stalking Ricky. She managed to get access to Ricky's email, his iCloud passwords, and even a key to his apartment. She even tracked his cell phone using an app. And the craziest part, Ricky had no idea. But Brenda didn't stop there. She started showing up at places Ricky frequented, like a salsa class he attended after their breakup. She made it seem like a coincidence, but now we know, don't we? Even though they were broken up, Brenda continued to act like Ricky's supportive friend. She offered him rides and helped him out, all while secretly harboring her obsessive feelings. But as Ricky's relationship with Kendra grew stronger, Brenda's obsession spiraled out of control. She meticulously monitored their every interaction, taking screenshots of their text messages, travel plans, and social media posts. It was like she was creating a twisted scrapbook of their relationship. Brenda's behavior became increasingly erratic. She couldn't stop talking about Ricky and Kendra to anyone who would listen. Friends, acquaintances, even people she went on dates with. No one was safe from Brenda's jealous rants. But here's where things take an even darker turn. Brenda started asking people if they knew someone who could hurt Kendra. She even offered her cousin money to threaten Kendra with a baseball bat. Can you believe it? This dental hygiene student was actively seeking someone to harm her ex's new girlfriend. As Brenda's desperation grew, she set her sights on two unlikely accomplices: Crystal Cortez, a struggling single mother, and Christopher Love, a small-time marijuana dealer. Little did they know they were about to be drawn into a plot that would end in murder. So what turned this seemingly normal student into a jealous, obsessed stalker? And how did her twisted plan to get rid of Kendra unfold? Now that we know who wanted Kendra dead, you're probably wondering how Brenda Delgado turned her obsession into a deadly reality. Remember that Brenda had access to Ricky's personal information? She used that to her advantage, tracking every move Kendra and Ricky made. But Brenda knew she couldn't pull off this plan alone. That's why she needed the help of the aforementioned people. First, there was Crystal Cortez, the 23-year-old single mom struggling to make ends meet. Can you imagine being so desperate for money that you'd agree to help with a murder? Well, that's exactly what Crystal did when Brenda offered her $500. But Brenda didn't stop there. She also recruited Christopher Love, the small-time drug dealer who had a criminal record. And what did she offer him? $3,000 worth of drugs and cash. It's crazy to think about, isn't it? How easily some people can be bought. With her team in place, Brenda's plan started to take shape. She and Crystal began stalking Kendra using night vision binoculars to watch her every move around Dallas. As the day of the murder approached, Brenda made sure every detail was perfect. She even tried to borrow a friend's silver BMW for Crystal to drive. But when car issues got in the way, they switched to a black Jeep Cherokee. Now, here's where things really get twisted. On September 2nd, 2015, the day before Kendra and Ricky were set to leave for a romantic getaway in Cancun, Brenda put her plan into action. But get this, she made sure she had an alibi. While Crystal and Christopher were out doing her dirty work, Brenda was calmly studying at a public library and later having dinner at Chili's with a friend. Exactly! Brenda sitting there sipping her drink, knowing that at that very moment, the woman she saw as her rival was about to meet a horrible fate. Meanwhile, Crystal and Christopher followed Kendra from her workplace to her apartment. They waited until she parked her car and then, bang, one shot to the head. And Kendra's life was over, just like that. But here's the kicker. Brenda was so confident in her plan that she even took Kendra's Coach purse after the murder. Can you believe the audacity? It's like she wanted a trophy to remember her victory by. So there you have it. A plan months in the making, executed with chilling precision. But as we all know, even the most carefully laid plans can unravel. And unravel they did in ways that would shock everyone involved. What happened next? Well, that's where our story takes yet another unexpected turn. You might think that catching Kendra's killer would be easy with all the security cameras around, right? Well, think again. The police had their work cut out for them, and what they uncovered was more twisted than anyone could have imagined. At first, the detectives thought they were dealing with a simple robbery gone wrong. After all, Kendra's Coach purse was missing, but something didn't add up. Why would a robber shoot their victim in the head? It seemed personal, almost like an execution. As the police dug deeper, they noticed some strange behavior. They discovered Brenda had been stalking Ricky for months, but here's where things get even more interesting. The police got a break in the case when, from surveillance footage from the parking garage, they found that a woman was behind the wheel of that black Jeep Cherokee. But who was she? Enter Jose Ortiz, a friend of Brenda's, who had lent her his Jeep. When he saw the video, he recognized his car and went straight to the police. Suddenly, all eyes were on Brenda. As the investigation unfolded, the police uncovered a sinister plot. Brenda hadn't acted alone. She hired two people to carry out her twisted plan, Cortez and Love. Cortez was the first to crack under questioning. At first, she tried to lie her way out of it, but eventually she told them everything. She told the police that Brenda had paid her and Love to rob Kendra, but get this, she claimed she didn't know Kendra would be killed. With Crystal's confession, the police were able to track down Love. And guess what they found when they searched his car? The murder weapon.
In the course of the last month, Dallas Police homicide detectives have been working tirelessly together with our partners at the Dallas County District Attorney's Office and our federal partners at the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office, piecing together information related to the murder of Dr. Kendra Hatcher, who was killed on September 2nd, 2015. Tonight, we announce the arrest of Christopher Love, black male, 3/23 of 1984, the person we have identified as having shot Dr. Hatcher, and he is currently in the Dallas County Jail on $2.5 million bond. Additionally, we have secured the warrant for the arrest of Brenda Delgado, Latin female, 6/18 of 1982, also for the charge of capital murder for her involvement in the offense.
But just when the police thought that they had this case wrapped up, Brenda pulled another surprise. She vanished into thin air, fleeing to Mexico before the police could arrest her. The mastermind behind this whole plot was on the run. The FBI wasn't about to let Brenda get away that easily. They put her on their 10 most wanted fugitives list and offered a $100,000 reward for any information leading to her capture. For 6 long months, Brenda managed to stay one step ahead of the law, but her luck couldn't last forever. Eventually, the authorities caught up with her in Torreon, Mexico, where she was hiding out with relatives. When they found her, she surrendered without a fight. It was an anticlimactic end to a dramatic chase. But because of Mexican law, Brenda couldn't be sent back to the US unless the death penalty was off the table. The Dallas District Attorney Office had to agree not to seek the death penalty to get her back on American soil to face justice. So there you have it, a jealous ex-girlfriend, 2 hired accomplices, a cross-border manhunt, and a tragic murder. It's hard to believe this all started with a breakup, isn't it? But as we'll see, the story doesn't end here. The trial of Brenda Delgado was about to begin, and it would reveal even more shocking details about this twisted tale of obsession and revenge. You might be wondering at this point, what could drive someone to commit such a brutal crime? What goes on in the mind of a person who plots to murder their ex's new partner? At first glance, Brenda seemed like your average dental student, friendly, quiet, ambitious, but beneath that normal exterior lurked a storm of dangerous emotions. You see, Brenda wasn't just upset about her breakup with Ricky, she was obsessed. Experts say Brenda showed clear signs of obsessive love disorder. It's not just being extra clingy or jealous. This disorder can turn people into stalkers, fixated on controlling their ex at any cost. She didn't just see Ricky's social media. She hacked his email, tracked his phone, and even kept a key to his apartment. But Brenda's jealousy wasn't just intense, it was pathological. As one investigator put it, she was spiraling downward. Her jealousy morphed into something darker and more dangerous. Now, you might be thinking, how could a normal person turn into a cold-blooded killer? Well, it turns out Brenda had a hefty dose of entitlement and narcissism fueling her actions. She felt like she deserved Ricky, like he owed her for the time they spent together. When he moved on with Kendra, it wasn't just heartbreak for Brenda, it was a threat to her very sense of self. Detective Eric Barnes summed it up pretty well when he said to Brenda, "I don't think you're a bad person, but you know what? You've been stomped on. You feel like you've been hurt. You've run out of options." It's a scary reminder that even seemingly normal people can snap under the right circumstances. But here's another scary part. Brenda didn't just snap in a moment of passion. She carefully planned Kendra's murder over months. She manipulated others into helping her. She set up an alibi, all while maintaining a facade of normalcy for those around her. Brenda's attorney, George Milner, expressed the shock many felt. Brenda Delgado is a nice, normal 30-something American. She's incapable of violence. But clearly he was wrong. Brenda proved that anyone can be capable of horrific acts when pushed to their limits. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear just how far Brenda's obsession had taken her. She didn't just stalk Ricky and Kendra, she created a whole alternate reality where she and Ricky were meant to be together and Kendra was the evil intruder who had to be eliminated. What's truly terrifying is how Brenda's mind worked. She didn't see herself as a villain. In her warped perspective, she was the wronged party, taking justified action. It's a stark reminder of how powerful self-deception can be and how dangerous it becomes when mixed with obsession and jealousy. So next time you hear about a seemingly normal person committing a shocking crime, remember Brenda Delgado. Remember that sometimes the most dangerous monsters are the ones hiding in plain sight, wearing a friendly smile and harboring dark, twisted thoughts. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How well do we really know the people around us? The trial of Brenda Delgado was about to begin. A courtroom filled with tension, all all eyes on the woman who orchestrated a murder out of jealousy. And in June 2019, Brenda finally faced the consequences of her actions. Now, you might think trials are boring affairs filled with lots of legal jargon, but this one, it was like something out of a TV drama. The prosecution even brought out the big guns, presenting evidence such as the binoculars Brenda and Crystal used to spy on Kendra. But the real shocker came when Cortez took the stand. She spilled everything, telling the court she wanted to get rid of Kendra Hatcher because she was envious of her.
Now, when you are talking about the offense, are you coming up with several plans or just one solid concrete plan?
We're coming up with several plans.
Tell the jury, what were the several plans?
One of the plans were to inject her with the needle. Another plan was to do her directly, and another plan was to kidnap her.
Then Ricky was asked about how he had experienced this tragic event.
You got back to Dr. Hatcher's apartment that night. Tell the jury what you saw.
There was commotion going on outside. There were police vehicles. There was a lot of activity. It didn't even dawn on me. I didn't even consider the possibility of it being related to Kendra. But then when he held up his hand and said, "Hold on," and it bypassed that simple process. And now my mind is starting to jump to worst case scenarios. When I went to the taco stand a little bit earlier, like around 8:15, I had already seen that there was commotion. In fact, I had sent a message to Kendra saying, hey, by the way, the entrance to your parking garage seems to be blocked. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to get in. You'll probably have to find another place to park tonight. So then that's where I start panicking. Now the possibility of something happening to Kendra starts to enter my mind, and I'm really, I'm scared. I'm panicking. I don't know.
This would be the entirety of her interaction with him during the trial, and well, I guess forever after.
You see Brenda Delgado in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
And I understand it's difficult. Can you point to her and describe an article she
She's at the end of the desk, and she's wearing a dark jacket.
It was heartbreaking. After that, the jury got to see a video of Brenda's interrogation. There she was, trying to convince the detectives she had an alibi on the night of the murder. But we all know the truth now, don't we? And so did the court.
Yes, indeed, Doug. And this is the second trial that the Hatcher family has had to endure. The hitman, Christopher Love, is already on death row. The question today, would jurors hold the woman responsible who put the whole awful plan into place? And that answer came with lightning speed.
Now, here's something you may not have seen before. After all the evidence was presented, how long do you think it took the jury to reach a verdict? An hour? 2? Try 20 minutes. Brenda's fate was sealed.
Let's find her guilty, because she is guilty.
And jurors took less than 20 minutes to oblige. Prosecutors today somewhat surprised, but extremely pleased.
We're just glad the right thing happened.
Brenda Delgado, convicted of capital murder, although she never fired a shot. Prosecutors convinced jurors that she hired a hitman to kill her ex-boyfriend's new love interest, dentist Kendra Hatcher, for $500 and drugs.
The jury's spoken. Obviously, we respect the decision of any jury, and we'll do what we need to do now going forward.
Brenda got life in prison without the possibility of parole. This means that she'll spend the rest of her days behind bars, thinking about what she did. But the drama didn't end there. After the sentencing, Kendra's family got to speak, and Kendra's sister didn't hold back.
No matter how envious you were of any human being, it does not give you the right to destroy lives. Many lives, your own family's lives, our lives, Kendra's lives, my children's lives. Who the hell do you think you are, Brenda?
Kendra's mother, Bonnie Jameson, expressed her inconsolable pain next, saying,
You, Brenda Delgado, have earned your spot on this earth behind cold steel bars for the rest of your miserable, pathetic life.
Brenda barely looked at the witnesses or the family throughout all of this. It was like she was in her own world, disconnected from the pain she had caused. So there you have it. A trial that lasted just a few days brought an end to a saga of jealousy, obsession, and murder that had stretched on for years. Brenda Delgado, the woman who couldn't let go, who let her darkest impulses take control, will spend the rest of her life paying for her crimes. But for Kendra's family and friends, the pain will truly never go away. Now that we have seen how justice was served, you might be wondering what happens after a tragedy like this. How do the people left behind pick up the pieces? It's a wound that time can't mend, a loss that can't be replaced. But it's not just Kendra's family. This senseless crime affected an entire community. It made people question their safety, their relationships, even their own judgment. After all, if someone like Brenda could turn into a killer, who else might be hiding dark secrets? What do you think? They say love conquers all. Is that love? Is that what love can do? Can love also have as ugly or worse effects than hate? Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.